anecdotes in which parents mention the exact same problem. The Cocomelon show is so insanely
Hello guys, welcome
addictive,
back to
it's being compared to
SuperMarvelSpider-Man. Today
nicotine
we're back
and
on
causing
another video
developmental issues
reviewing
amongst the kids who
Cocomelon
can't
and
stop watching.
Witha.
Children's TV expert Jerica Sands calls it the most
Children's
damaging show a child
show
can
that
watch,
we would
explaining the
want
sneaky ways
to be
in which
banned,
they
but the
make the
most
show
evil channel
addictive.
on
Firstly, there's the
YouTube.
colours. Take for example the wheels on the bus. The three main colours, blue, green and yellow, are all at maximum saturation, meaning they cannot be made any brighter no matter how hard you try. Extreme saturation is normally used for alerts and notifications, as it's exciting, dynamic and attracts attention, which is why it's also used in slot machines. Cocomelon puts these colours in perfect contrast, making them appear even more vibrant, which is different to, for example, Bluey, in which the colours instead blend together. Cocomelon's also different because it's highly repetitive. There's a reason they have 38 videos with over 1 billion views. A child's brain is wired to learn through repetition, so it feels right to them to watch the same thing over and over again. Cocomelon abuses this in almost every video. For example, in the Yes Yes Playground song, they pick a word to repeat 3 times in every sentence, pairing it with a subtly repeating background lullaby, keeping children hooked. Literally no show or movie puts my son into a deep trance the way Cocomelon does. The second it's on the TV, he turns into a toddler zombie who doesn't see or hear anything else that's going on in the room. This is only exacerbated by Cocomelon's subtitles, which have also been a heavy point of criticism. The letters are not educational. I can barely read them fast enough. It's simply another interesting element to capture your little one's attention. Cocomelon explains in every description, our goal is to help make learning a fun and enjoyable experience for kids, giving you the peace of mind that your children are receiving quality educational content. But people have argued that they're teaching exactly what children shouldn't do. For example, in the No No Bedtime song, the baby refuses to brush his teeth, have a bath, put on pajamas or get in bed. The education is that he eventually agrees to do so, yet a TikTok user was critical, stating, anytime I'd ask my son to do a simple task, he'd say no, no, no. He's sitting there watching Cocomelon, which taught him no, 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 and just say no to me. On the topic of education, Jerica Sands stated, these people don't give a shit about our children. They care about money. That's it. Your child's cognitive development in direct exchange for their wealth, and there's pretty good evidence supporting this. A New York Times journalist visited Cocomelon's studio, discovering their #1 focus is keeping children hooked. Cocomelon's data and analytics team sifts constantly through YouTube numbers to determine exactly what resonates. Should a girl wear black jeans or blue jeans? Should the music be louder or softer? Should the bus be yellow or red? Yellow is the answer, as they use a darker method to ensure that they're correct. Cocomelon has a dedicated Distractatron room, in which once a month children are brought here one at a time and shown a handful of episodes to figure out exactly which parts of the shows are engaging and which are tuned out. Next to the TV playing Cocomelon, there's a second screen which plays a continuous loop of banal real-world scenes. A guy pouring a cup of coffee, someone getting a haircut,
It's not
each lasting about
not
20
really.
seconds.
It's
Whenever
just
a
like you
youngster
want to make
looks
kids
away from the
not
Moonbug
listen
show
to
to glimpse the
their parents.
Distractatron, a note is jotted down.
You're just
We
not
can see
making
what
them
they're looking at
listen.
and the
You're just
exact
making
moment when they
teaching
got
them no, no,
distracted.
no.
Therefore,
No.
education clearly
What are you
isn't the
doing,
primary goal.
Cocomelon? Why would you
Keeping kids'
teach kids
attention
no, no,
is,
no
and
to
this
say
is
to their
proven by
parents?
Cocomelon's most addictive element, rapid camera cutting. It's crazy how many times the frame changes on Cocomelon. It's the same type of addicting behavior that we experience on a TikTok binge. It's the quick change of frame that releases that dopamine and makes the videos addicting to watch. Count the seconds between a change of frame. Well, TikToker the Circus Brain did exactly this. He firstly counts the changes on My Little Pony, concluding there's about 6 seconds between each cut. He then compares it to Cocomelon.
1, 2, 1.
Oh yeah, and there's one more thing
3,
about the
1,
Cocomelon. How do
2,
they know the
1,
rap dance?
2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
In her video, The Nightmare That Is Cocomelon, Savantix draws a similar conclusion. She found that 96% of the shots in Baby Shark were shorter than 2 seconds. She then compares 4 different animated shows, again finding Cocomelon has the shorter shots.
The longest shot on a Cocomelon video was 6 seconds. The longest shot on Arcane was 8 seconds. The longest shot on Bluey was 27 seconds. And the longest shot on Encanto was 18 seconds.
Which, when combined with every other element, creates some terrifying statistics.
6
Dr. Summon
seconds.
explained that when showing an infant normal video content, they'll focus on the screen just 11% of the time. However, when the video is instead switched to Cocomelon, their screen engagement skyrockets to a whopping 74%. This therefore produces stories such as this. I used to volunteer for a preschool and they had song time. A Cocomelon video came on and all of the tots stopped what they were doing, put down their cheese crackers and remained fixated on the screen for the duration of the video. It was honestly kind of terrifying. YouTuber Saberspark shared his own personal anecdote. He asked to watch a Disney movie with his 2 younger cousins, who both completely refused, and instead spent all day glued to an iPad playing the addictive show. In Cocomelon Made My Kid a Zombie, a mother talks about her son. He would be in a daze while watching it. You could be waving your hand right in front of his face, and he wouldn't move. It was almost scary. This was also discovered by Sarah Mills 98, who explained when the Cocomelon addiction is so real that my 1-year-old can navigate the TV to turn it on by himself. However, nothing shows the addiction better than the Cocomelon TikTok trend. Parents will play the show's intro loudly and video their kids sprinting toward the television, where you can witness their mood change instantly. The New York Times journalist found something similar. The kid in the Distractatron had shown up in the midst of a tantrum, which ended the second he heard the Cocomelon theme song. It was no surprise to Wheeler, the head of research. 99% of kids, he said, if they're having issues when they get here, once that Cocomelon song comes on, they're like, life is okay, all is good with the world. Obviously, there's a reason for this.
Good thing I
Cocomelon
did
is
not
so
grow up with
hyperstimulating that it actually acts as a drug, and what happens when you take the drug away. Young children experiencing symptoms of addiction and withdrawal, obviously leaving them completely dysregulated. TikTok user Depop1 filmed what happens when you take the show away, explaining he'll be inconsolable for at least 10 to 15 minutes after, adding in the description, Cocomelon meltdown is legit. Once you have a taste of the cocoa, it's hard to break the addiction, which this Reddit user had experienced even worse. My husband and I have been worried about our child. I can slowly see how she'd throw violent tantrums at home and in church. Whenever she'd get bored and would want to watch the show. Her behavior changes the moment she watches the show, and she will not even eat her meals if she wouldn't watch it. After these tantrums end, kids can experience a general discomfort in the speed of everyday life. The more they watch the show, the more their brain begins to expect this intense level of stimulation.
Basically, Cocomelon overstimulates their brains so much that everything else just seems slow and boring in comparison.
However, the potential consequences get much worse than this. As mentioned at the start, it was the cause of a child's speaking problems, with a notable reply reading, "Same thing happened with my daughter too. She's 4 but can't speak properly. She knows the words, but she does not like to frame the sentence or speech. She has been watching these Cocomelons or such other stuffs for 2 or 3 years. Hope we're not too late." Over on Reddit, a speech-language pathologist explained that screen time in general is linked with speech delays for a variety of reasons, but Cocomelon is excessively bad. Firstly, unlike other TV shows or movies, it doesn't have a story. It's just very short clips with poorly written songs. The kids aren't able to follow the plot, learn vocabulary, and see the resolution of a conflict, supported by infant specialist Meg Fora.
And the problem with fast-paced TV programs is we find that little one's language development is slower.
On the Agents of Speech YouTube channel, this is again confirmed.
The main problem with watching videos on the internet is that they don't know how to use the language that they learn.
But he adds that 4 to 5 hours of screen time per day can make a toddler completely non-verbal. 4 to 5 hours is obviously a lot of time, but in Cocomelon Made My Kid a Zombie, researchers discovered that 5-year-olds who watch more than 2 hours of TV a day tended to have lower attention spans and were 7.7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD.
Yes.
These screen times might be even
It's
longer.
like that. Oh, Cocomelon. The thing about Cocomelon is, it's just that,
For Cocomelon specifically,
oh, my
because as
cousin
explained
watches
by
it.
Jerica
What do I
said,
think about
Startled screen
Cocomelon?
time is
Cocomelon is
very
just,
simple. A child who just
I don't
watched
find it. It's
3
not.
minutes of Cocomelon and a
It's
child
just
who
too.
just watched 30 minutes of Trash Truck will look like
The,
a
like,
very,
like the
very
problem
different
is
child.
that
Thankfully,
what the
here lies a simple
fudge is the
solution.
plot even
Sierra
about?
Renee explained my 2-year-old is speech delayed and addicted to
Because
Cocomelon. Switched
how are
to
you
Miss
gonna
Rachel 2 days
fudge
ago,
and teach
and he's
kids
already
with
saying more
a
words
speech?
and hasn't had any
No,
tantrums. Kim
because
Dot shared an almost
Cocomelon, yeah,
identical
it's just
anecdote. My 8-month-old
Cocomelon,
was obsessed with
has no
Cocomelon
plot.
and having
It's
bad
just
tantrums, so I
it's
cancelled
just some
Cocomelon and
learning
only let
about
her watch
videos,
Miss
but
Rachel, and she
they
said
don't
her
show
first
what's
word
going
within the
on
first 3
in
days
the
of
video.
watching. Clearly, parents are able to simply change the channel, but not before leaving Cocomelon a massive amount of dislikes. They've therefore earned the title the absurdly popular kids show parents hate, and Cocomelon has actually responded to the criticism that explain how shows are not intended to replace outdoor playtime or playdates. They have a place in children's entertainment time, and as with food, exercise, etc., it comes down to each parent to find the right and appropriate balance for their children. Our responsibility
Damn. This is,
is ensuring that the quality of the content that we produce is high and beneficial for the development of a child's cognitive and soft skills. It is worth adding that our social media communities are filled with stories of parents who experience firsthand how mood bug content helps their children. Cocomelon does have a crazy amount of supporters, but it's obvious that some of them are simply ignoring the downsides. My baby learned the alphabet and numbers from Cocomelon. She may not speak a complete sentence, but she expresses her wants through phrases. But is it Cocomelon's responsibility to ensure that babies are talking? Well, no. People love blaming cartoons and games for raising children, and not the shitty parents that don't step in.
man said
to stop
shitty
them from
parents. As they said in the beginning of the video, saying that, oh, Cocomelon doesn't give a shit about kids. Like, what the fudge?
so much. Cocomelon is actually a really
Like, they didn't even, like, one more thing, like, I did
symbol
not
of
know.
parents giving their children tablets instead of actually parenting and interacting with them. Ultimately, parents are the people who
This
choose
is like
how much their child
Elsagate,
consumes.
but anyways.